Coach, what's up, man? We are back. I think this shirt's fucking unlucky, but I'm Bradley Schneller. This is Coach, and here
And
we
it
go.
will be Saturday night in Death Valley.
Well, Saturday night sure as hell sucked tonight.
Sure, it did. But if you're a college football fan, like, that's why you watch college football and not NFL football.
Yeah, I mean, it was great, right?
Like
it
that's
was-
a high stakes game, and you've got two elite teams playing at a very high level. And I'm sorry, like, even if you're not a fan of either team, right? That's an exciting, tense game to watch.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the NFL just can never bring that sort of excitement, in my opinion.
It was awesome until fucking Dallas Turner took out Jaden Daniels with an illegal hit.
False. Look, I know you want it to be illegal, but after all the replays, like, his face mask hit Jaden Daniels. So it was not targeting.
His face mask hit Jaden Daniels' face mask.
I know, but that's not targeting, right? Like, it was the late hit. It was like, if they would have reviewed it, he would not have been thrown out. Like, there was enough. Like, I'm fine that they didn't review it. It's just, look, also, like 5 years ago, that was an awesome hit on the quarterback.
5 years ago,
saying? Like,
Devin White got thrown out of a game for targeting for far less.
Every quarterback because that was like an emphasis, and then they backed off it. But like, every quarterback who played before like 2017 was like, what? That's just a regular. That's every time I throw the ball.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know,
it's already. I was just talking about it. My cousin rolled in for the second half. I considered him a jinx because he didn't watch the first half with me. He was on the South Shore for a wedding. Like, first of all, who the fuck graduates from LSU and then has a wedding the first weekend in November?
Well, you want me to answer that question or no?
Yeah, go ahead. Who?
It's people who are opposite of you. The real question is, who the fuck goes to that wedding?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I understand, like, people who don't even know who LSU are, or don't care, or they're in the art program or whatever. But who goes to that wedding?
I don't know. But look, so he rolls up in the second half, and then, like, I'm watching this debacle.
Also, side note, your sister got married on a night where there was a very important game, because I watched it.
My cousin.
On my I'm sorry.
And it was LSU, Alabama. It was the first week of November.
And
I watched it on my phone too.
I watched it. No, you did. No, whose wedding did you do?
Whose wedding was that? Gina's wedding.
Gina. Sorry. Yeah, because I watched the video. I was watching while you were giving your ceremony. So
yeah. All right. So look, let's get this in real quick. I'm gonna throw this guy some. Brian says Roll Tide win. Fuck off, Brian.
I know you hate Alabama, but like, you also have to love Alabama, right? Because they make LSU who they are.
Look, I love,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
this game. I would be so sad if, when we do this whole realignment, if we didn't get to play this game.
I could give two fucks about dropping Auburn.
No, I don't care. And I love the Auburn game, but I love this game. I want to play Alabama.
You have to play, just like back in the day. Like, you wanted to play Florida every year. Like, it was like everyone used to bitch. Oh, well, we're paired up in the East with Florida, and it's bullshit. You want to play those teams. If you want to be the best and you want to be in the conversation, then you want to be in these matchups.
Yeah, I think about it. Like, I love playing this game. Like, when you and I are the same type of people. Like, if we're gonna win something, I want to play everybody. Like, give me the fucking best.
Yeah. You know why everyone talks about the 2019 team being the best?
Because they beat everybody.
Because they beat everybody. Like, oh, you're really good? Okay, we'll play and we'll beat you. Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Next week, you're really good? You're undefeated? Okay, we'll beat you too. Also, Matt House does not need to be fired. Randy.
Yeah, so here we go. Randy says Matt House needs to be fired.
So
let's talk about that.
Like, first of all, keep in mind, you had multiple true freshmen playing in the secondary. And I got to tell you,
that was this week. Like, this whole season
I know,
been a shit show.
I got you, but like, first of all, tell me who you want to go get. Don't just say you're going to fire somebody. Like, tell me who you want to go get. Make sure you can get them. But like, man, we just maybe we just don't have the dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean,
Let me tell you something. Like Sage Ryan tonight, right? He's 15, and I don't usually fault kids from my background, right? Like I'm going to take all the responsibility. But Sage Ryan was Mr. Louisiana football a couple of years ago out of Lafayette Christian, and he was dynamic as a player I've ever seen in high school. But he looked unathletic tonight.
I think I can beat him in a race. I'm pretty sure.
That's not actually okay. Man, I fucking love you. I fucking love you.
That's what I was thinking. I was watching this whole game. I'm like, I could cover dudes better than this. Like, I'm
Is
not letting
Lala
this
still
guy-
listening? Lala, can you put a poll up, please, for so people can vote on who would win in a race? Sage Ryan, Mr. Louisiana football, or Bradley Schneller, band member from Rummel?
I was a band
quick
member at
poll.
LSU too, so
Also
give me a little bit
LSU.
of street
Yeah,
cred.
yeah. That makes you faster.
I can run a 400 in
Nobody cares.
58 seconds.
That's okay. Great. That's barely would win you like fourth place in like the 1A state championship. But anyway,
I'll fucking race him though.
I'm not just gonna run off coaches because they have a bad year. Like,
All right, what
know,
is
it's
the
just
big
look, it's
difference
like-
between last year and this year? I don't understand.
it's like what
Like,
Clemson's going through right now,
is it
right? Everyone
all
wants to
these
fire
players?
Dabo Sweeney right now. Like they were the worst team ever. Like he's done. Like and then like man, it's hard to do it at the highest level. You know what I mean? Like so like maybe we just don't have the dudes. But by the way, if you are not excited about the young talent we have at corner, then you didn't watch this game tonight because they did not destroy us throwing the football. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
In my opinion. And if you don't like number 25, right?
that was Jordan Toviano.
Yeah. And he's from Texas, and he's a true freshman. Think about it. He's playing high school football last year, and now he's on the road.
They
He's
picked on
he's
Saquon
listed at
the whole game.
6'1",
They stayed away from
200
Toviano.
pounds.
They stayed away from Toviano.
Let me tell you something. That guy is a physical. I said it earlier in the year about
He's thick and fast.
he's awesome. He looks like the guys we talked about earlier in the year. Like, where are these physically dominant looking, just like, even if he was terrible, you would look at him and be like, I'm not going to throw at that guy because he looks awesome. That guy looks the part. That guy looks the part. And he's going to be special. I don't know if we'll be doing his podcast when he graduates. I have no idea. But let me tell you something. He's a first round guy.
Yeah, he's
I'm
legit.
telling you now.
All right. So speaking of slow, like I thought the same thing about Major Burns. He was taking all kinds of bad angles, but he looked unathletic too. Like, yeah, he could
Man,
he could hit some
what
dudes, but like
my
what's going
biggest
on?
gripe with Major Burns is that he wants to lay like the YouTube hit instead of just make the fucking tackle. You know, like just make the tackle. Like, there's a big difference between like a 7-yard gain and a 14-yard gain.
All right, so
and a
that goes
first
back
down.
to Renee and Randy. You know, Renee says you fire Madhouse tonight, doesn't change the defense. You got who you got this year. My apologies if that's not your voice, but that's what I used.
Probably not Renee's voice.
It's probably not Renee's voice. But like we couldn't tackle shit. So what are we doing? Why is that coaching? Is that
I don't know.
these dudes? Like we couldn't
It's not
tackle shit.
coaching because like you coach that stuff in the
I would
peanut,
watch
right?
Alabama running backs or Milrow run into the line, get stopped at the line, and then get 5 more yards.
Well, we were
We're-
texting during the game, right? Like, if you don't look at football from a coach's lens, sometimes you miss this stuff. But like our linebackers tonight were fucking atrocious.
Oh, I mean, I could see that, and I'm no coach.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Like they were so out of position and like walking into blocks. Like they were letting the guards and tackles and zone blocking schemes get to the second level and just getting themselves blocked. What are you drinking? It's not a sponsor.
This is Bib and Tucker. It's a small batch bourbon, aged 10 years. I got it as a gift, as a thank you gift, actually, from Christy Aguilar. Shout out to Christy Aguilar. It's nice.
Listening.
It's pretty nice. No, she's not. She's not listening. It's pretty nice. What are you drinking tonight?
I have been drinking. I had some Prisoner, which I always drink.
Mr. Prisoner, stock and Prisoner.
I know, but I've been drinking a lot of local. It's Wild Bush. It's called. It's a winery actually in Bush, Louisiana, on the North Shore. It's if you live in Metairie, you can get to it in about an hour. We just went.
It's pretty legit.
It's fabulous. It's awesome.
Oh,
It's
shit.
all like no additives, very organic. Wines are great. It's sort of the side project from the same local people who have vending machine wines.
Okay.
That's sort of their big California project, but this is their local awesome winery here they have in Bush, Louisiana. You can get to it in an hour. Feels like you're in a different country. And
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah,
check that out.
they have great wines. Anyway, that's what I've been drinking all night. Look,
Burns.
You can't just fire
Ryan.
Matt House, right? Like dudes can either tackle or they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like you either want to lay the boom and be on Instagram and YouTube and all and ESPN, or you just want to make sound plays.
All right. So Greg Penn, he's been a great player this year. Like he has, I don't want to say great. He's been a good player this year. One of our better defensive players. Okay. I think he leads the team in tackles. I read that tonight. He was out of position all night. Omar Spates,
he kept
I don't know what
walking
he was
himself into
doing.
blocks all night. Like it was so bad. It was so painful to watch him. But here's the thing, right? Like I know you texted me that, and it's like I can't argue with you, right? Can he do any worse? I can't argue with that.
At some point,
Like
you
if
gotta
you're
try
just gonna
something
stand there and get blocked, then put somebody else in there. Maybe he's just hyperactive tonight and can get off the block.
different. And
But
what the fuck are we actually doing with Harold Perkins?
I don't know, man. Like, I thought when he had that sack early that, man, all right, he's gonna be pumped up. He's gonna have a great night. And then like they had that little wheel route with the running back.
Yeah,
By the way,
after that he disappeared. He almost got that ball. He
tipped it. He did get a fingernail on it, but like, it wasn't like it was like. By the way, anyone who says like, "What the fuck?" Like, let me see where you were in that play. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd have fallen down and like pulled a hamstring. Like, like he's still an elite player. Like, man, look, nobody wants to hear this, but Alabama played unreal tonight.
They did. They played with their hair on fire.
Keep in mind,
Both
like
sides
about
of the
6
ball.
weeks ago against like UCF or whoever it was.
It was South Florida. I think it was
South Florida.
USF.
That quarterback got benched. He couldn't even get that team to get a first down. And tonight he's a Heisman Trophy winner. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
that
I
kid-
mean, he looks pretty good.
that team was coached up with a mission. Right? They are fully in the hunt as a one-loss team. Let me tell you something. They win the West and beat Georgia. They're in the Final Four.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they had everything. Like if we win this game, we still need so much help to even possibly get there. But they're right in the thick. They're where we were last year. They're right in the thick of things.
I just got a text comment. I'm gonna go ahead and read it because I think it's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Well, it's not funny. It's just true.
Are you gonna say who it's from or
Yeah, Tegan, my girlfriend, texted me. She said, "Alabama's the Houstons of restaurants. They're consistently consistent."
Can't argue with that.
Solid take, Tegan.
Can I give you my Napa story
Yeah. Go
about
ahead.
Houston's restaurant?
Yeah, go.
So go to Napa like 5 years ago, and we were gonna get in at like 8:30 that night, 9 o'clock. So I was like, well, just go. What's the closest restaurant to the hotel or whatever we're staying? I'm like, oh, this place called Rutherford Grill. I'm looking at the menu. I was like, oh, this looks great. And I walk in and I'm like, you know what gave it away? It was the low lighting at the table, and it was the white napkin with the little like button. I don't know if you've seen it at Houston's or what are they called now? Not Houston's. What are the restaurants? What are they called now?
What?
Boulevards.
Boulevard.
Yeah.
No, they still have Houston's, but that's Boulevard.
Yeah, but it's the same.
It's the same shit,
Everything.
except not as good because I did go to Boulevard like a month ago.
Service is terrible. Don't get me started here.
The service
If you
is
live in New
fucking
Orleans,
terrible.
Service is fucking.
Service
The one
is
in
terrible.
Elmwood almost walked out one night. Anyway, nobody logged in to listen to the 4 people who are listening.
No, we're talking about wineries and restaurants.
Anyway, long story short, we order some appetizers. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is a Houston's. And we eventually pull our phones out and we look up, and it's owned by the exact same family. We just
Get
call
the
it something
fuck out.
different. So fuck. Flew all the way over there to have a great meal, and we ended up at a Houston's. Anyway,
Was it good?
super consistent.
Yeah. You know, I went to the Houston's for the first time this past week. I mean, this past year. And so I just throw it. Last thing. All right, back to football. Okay, so my cousin was leaving, who jinxed us. Okay, and I also think this shirt might have jinxed us. I'm 1-4 in this shirt. I think I'm never
Which
going to wear
is
it
so
past the
weird to
season.
me that you, of all people, would still even like you're not burning that. Look, I got the fire going if you want to come over and burn it.
I've considered giving it to my girlfriend's son.
So he can bring the hex.
I think it might just be
Like
me
if the
wearing
shirt's
the
bad
shirt.
luck.
The shirt
Here's
feels
the-
bad luck. I can't
Here's
wear
the
it
thing
again,
about
man.
like superstitions, right? They're just excuses. LSU did not lose tonight
because I'm a
because
shirt.
you chose to wear that shirt. If the world is that fragile, then we are fucked on so many levels.
I feel that this bourbon is so good. I should have been. If I would have drank this all night, though, I'd be like.
I want to
so
know.
fucked.
I want to know what the general consensus is out there about like how do I say this? Long-term Brian Kelly. I know how I feel.
I
know how I
want to.
feel.
I want to see what happens in another 2 years. That's. I'm willing to give it time.
That's a lot. That's a lot of time in today's world.
All right. So what do you
Today's
think?
instant
I'm patient.
gratification.
I'm patient, but
false.
false. You don't think I'm patient?
No, like 5 weeks ago, there was a title of this show that was called like, "Does Brian Kelly need to be fired?"
I didn't pick that title.
Well,
I
you're the
didn't pick
leader
that
of the
title.
show, so
I didn't think that title. No, I don't think Brian Kelly needs to be fired. I like Brian Kelly. I have a problem with his inability to play freshmen early that are super talented, right? Like, so tonight was the first night we've really seen Savion Jones all season.
no, false.
No?
That dude
No?
started from week 1. I was talking about him because I coached against him.
Did you? Oh, shit.
Yeah, Savion Jones and Mason Smith, I coached against.
All right,
One
fuck.
Savion went to St. James, Mason Smith went to Terrebonne. Coached against both of them. They are abnormal human beings.
All right. Well,
They-
what's
they
your
are-
take, Brian Kelly, long term?
I like him. Like, I think that everybody wants such instant success, right? Like, this is year 2. Like, where are the days where, like, oh, well, let's let them have like a complete cycle of like freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, and then we'll make a decision. Like, everybody wants this. Oh, we just go to the transfer portal and get some dudes. How's that working out for Colorado now? The media was jerking off so much earlier in the year, and now they're playing at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and our transfer
like-
dudes haven't been great either. So
No.
except for the second.
and
best
you and I
quarterback in
talked
the
about
history of
this this
LSU
morning.
football.
You and I talked about this morning. There's sort of a fine line between like, do you let your young guys play early and get some experience so that they're dogs, or do you go get some experienced dudes who may have not been 5 stars, but they've got real world film that I can watch and quantify?
I think the problem, and I was thinking about this. I think I brought it up to you this morning while we were working out. Is like the problem with those dudes is I get that there are people that are not 4 and 5 stars that make it to the league. Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Jefferson. LSU's had their fair share.
The NFL and the college game are two different games.
Right. But what I'm saying is that they were both super athletic, right?
Sure.
Most 4 and 5 stars are not athletic enough to play in the SEC.
I don't know. First of all, you know how I feel about the star system.
I know, but I'm
Stupidest
just
thing in the
saying,
world.
like, the reality
Also, it's
is if you look at the teams who win championships, they have the most like cumulative stars.
Yeah, so that's why we go out and get those dudes. But the landscape has changed to sort of, right? I think the market has corrected to sort of say, hey, I might have been just a 3-star, whatever that's worth. But I went to, I don't want to insult. I went to Texas Tech. I went to Arizona State. And I played early, and I showed that I can play at this level, at a high level. So, Power 5 team, elite team, come get me. Right? You can't have it both ways. You can't be like, well, man, we got all these guys on defense and they're not working. Jay Daniels is fucking working.
Yeah. Well, and look, it's interesting you say that. It's not interesting.
Who knew the fuck Jaden Daniel was when he was playing at Arizona State when it kicked off at 10:30 our time?
I mean, people knew about him. They didn't know he could do this. And
exactly.
I think that's what I'm most bummed about this season is like we didn't have a defense that could complement the second best quarterback in the history of LSU.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's putting up the total numbers that he could. He won't win the Heisman. He won't do what Joe did. He won't be.
Especially
Joe.
now, he'll miss the next game because of concussion protocol.
I don't know. I mean, fuck the fact that they send him back in. It's almost like they tried to like show face and be like, "Well, look, we can't win this game. Let's make it look like." Fuck, he was smiling on the sideline, And he came back in. I think he plays next week.
He's fucking awesome.
Also, yes, like the things he's doing is on a whole different level this year.
And you kind of tell as soon as he went out, like the game, you might as well just wrapped it up because the team
it was at a point where it was kind of wrapped up anyway.
Right, but like
just like where Nuss
usually
shines. That's usually where Nuss shines, right? He's like, fuck it, we ain't supposed to win this game now anyway. Let me just sling it.
He did not though.
Well, I thought he actually made some smart decisions. Like that first play, I was like, the text was like, just let him fucking throw it long.
Yeah,
and they had that on. Right, they had the slot fade where the
Mason Taylor though. Mason Taylor wasn't going to get to that like ever.
No, but like they had the play on, right? And he checked it down, but then at that point, yeah, the game's over, right? I texted you. We texted each other. It's ball game.
Yeah, but I mean,
also if you want to DraftKings bet of the week or ever or every week,
here you go, ladies and gentlemen. The DraftKings bet of the week.
Yeah. Use our code BOOT for a special offer. It's the over under in the first quarter total points. Take the over. LSU. It's hit like 9 straight games.
Yeah, I'm in.
It's the easiest bet ever. Don't take anything else. You can take the overall over, but anyway.
Offensively, like up until like we got all those stops, which I mean it's kind of jacked up. Like I'm gonna say like that 4th and 1, what do we do and run the ball? That was in the first half, right? And then we missed a field goal. That was the first half. All right. The second half, those 3 stops in a row. We punted after Mason Taylor dropped a first.
You can't have those, right? Like if not, not only does he probably get the first down, if not, it's like 3rd and 2. Right. And then the next drive, you get that fluke tip ball.
Yeah, that's
which happens in big games, right? Like he's going to get credited with a interception, but like it's not really his fault. Like it got in the air, and that's a 50-50 at that point.
And then the next drive, Jaden went out, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to sit here and say like, oh, maybe we should have ran Logan Diggs more, but the reality is what we were doing was working.
Yeah, we weren't. We had
Guys
the lead.
were open. Yeah, we what we were doing was working. Like offensively speaking, like Mike Denbrock put a hell of a game plan together. Like I saw some people in Tiger Droppings bitching about like, what's this game plan or these plays or something like that. But the reality was like, I thought it was a well called game.
Yes, the people who are saying that aren't watching the game. Like we ran the ball when we needed to. We had. Like Gary Daniels, first of all, God, I fucking cannot wait for ESPN to pick up the SEC because I cannot stand that guy. I don't know if anybody, I'm sure every LSU fan watched the Tom Rinaldi piece with Jaden Daniels. First of all, he's like the old Roy Firestone on ESPN or whatever. Like he always made you cry in those interviews. Like you watch those interviews when Tom Rinaldi starts talking, you're like, I'm not gonna cry, I promise you. But like you eventually want to. He's like Gary Daniels. I don't know if I don't know if I read this or heard this, but they were talking about how Joe Burrow reached out to Gary. Yeah, your colleague Gary, Tom Rinaldi. Yeah, you know him. He's the one that did that interview, and he's like, I don't know where I read that. I cannot stand that. It
was on game day this morning, Gary.
He's the worst. He is the absolute worst announcer. God, I can't wait for the ESPN video. Anyway, fuck, I don't even know what we were talking about.
The offense looked good.
Yeah, yes, they look good. Like that, Jaden Daniels was having a Heisman moment night.
Yeah.
He just didn't finish it, and we just didn't win.
Yeah, it just happens. And like I tell this too, like sometimes, the other team is better, and the other team was definitely better tonight.
Also, rewind for a second, 2019. Everyone's like, oh my God, best football team ever. Like Joe Burrow, like that. His Heisman moment was a 46-41 win at Alabama. It wasn't like we beat the dog shit out of them.
Yeah, Bama came back in that game.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not just beat down. Like, oh my God, Joe threw for 600 yards and it was like 70-10. Like, no, that was a dogfight.
Well, they just won tonight. Dogfight. Yeah.
Also, like that's what this game is every year, right? Like last year, we won it.
I'm confident though. I'm confident that our offense will still be electric next year, even without Jaden Daniels. Maybe not to this extent, but hopefully
it'll be more Joe Burrow like. Like Nuss can get you enough plays with his feet to keep the chains moving, but like he ain't gonna have a 140-yard rushing night, but he can sling it.
Man, Jaden just makes people miss around the corner. It's insane.
He's
insane.
A different level of human.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know where I stand. As homer as can be, like I'd love for the Saints to draft him in the first round. I mean, I think he's gonna go in the first round.
Sure. I mean, yeah, is he better maybe than we got? Sure.
All right, so
here's the thing. I haven't looked it up, but like there was, I think he posted or somebody posted or we posted. It was a picture of him and what's his name in Baltimore? The one
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Jaden looked way bigger than Lamar Jackson. I don't know what their stats are, like height and weight wise, but like Jaden looked big. It's funny during halftime.
Yeah,
the CBS crew talked about how like they used to talk about back in the day that one day you'd see a Bo Jackson type guy at quarterback, and I was like, okay, that's a little stretch, but they're like, you're seeing it, and it's like, well, it made me think. It was like, well, I don't know if we're seeing a Bo Jackson type guy because I think he's the greatest athlete to ever walk this planet. But you're seeing guys play the quarterback position at an elite level that can do things with their feet that 15 years ago people in the NFL didn't think was possible.
Yeah, it's insane.
And then when you sort of look back, and maybe I know you're not that much younger than me, but like you think back to like guys like Randall Cunningham.
I remember Randall Cunningham. That's who I compared Jaden to, but a more accurate passer.
But what I'm saying is like imagine a guy like that who is trying to be forced into an NFL system because they weren't offensively evolved
Imagine Randall Cunningham in Baltimore.
in today's
Ravens.
offense.
Yeah, today's offense.
You know what I'm saying?
It'd be sick.
Like, what were some of the guys? So, like, the fact that some of those guys were like NFL superstars when it was like, hey, I need you to take a 9-step drop and read the whole field. Like, it's a whole different, like, I don't know. I feel like we're watching a time where the quarterback play is at the highest level it's ever been.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Like,
what are the things you're looking forward to for the rest of the season? Like, we're not making the playoffs. We're not making the SEC championship.
No.
What are we looking forward to?
You got to turn the page to next year, unfortunately, but you still have to finish strong, right? There's this fine balance between you still got Florida who like that's an SEC. You still got some SEC teams to beat, right?
Right.
You got to win out. You got to start getting some young guys playing time, getting them up to speed, ready for next year to sort of set the tone for next year. That's what I'm looking for. Like, I don't know if I care as much about wins and losses now moving forward as I do about let's just get everybody on the bus for next year and in the right seat, right? Like, that's one of Nick Saban's famous quotes. Like, spring practice is about making sure everybody's on the bus, meaning where everybody's got the team goals and on their minds, and then let's make sure we got everybody in the right seats. Make sure guys can do what we want them to do next year. We need linebacker play. I agree with you. Like, we got some young linebackers who probably just aren't physically ready. That can step up next year. Offensively, unfortunately, you got to let Jaden sort of run out the year, but hopefully you have enough snaps that we can get Nuss a little bit more playing time, because he ain't going anywhere. It's his turn, and he's earned it, in my opinion.
I'm with you.
All
right, Coach, anything to wrap this up with?
I don't know. Other than I want to keep drinking. No.
I mean, I would keep drinking.
Yeah.
So
we can hit end stream and keep talking.
Yeah. Let's do that. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night. Look, this is going to be a tough year. We're still trying to replenish a lot of people, but
it's a tough year because there was expectations, and we talk about expectations.
Yeah,
we talked about it going into the year. We only have expectations because last year we exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
If we don't win that Alabama game last year, what are the expectations for this year?
Yeah,
win the West. Win the West. That was it. That would have totally been it. Hey, we didn't win it last year. Let's try to win the West this year. All right, so the market corrected itself. So there next year, now it's time to win the West. That's the goal. You can't have those big pictures. If you win the West, that means you put yourself in position for all those other things.
Yeah.
And
look, I'm purple and gold through and through, but I learned a few years ago that football is just entertainment. So enjoy it while it's fun. Move on when we lose.
Hold on. What's the worst parlay you took tonight?
I didn't bet today at
You're
all.
full of shit.
I didn't bet. No bets today.
Bullshit.
Actually, I haven't bet in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's because your account at zero. You lost it all.
I got $140 left in the account. I'm gonna take something. I was thinking about that. I should have taken the fucking over in this game because we hit
over first quarter. I'm telling you, because no one can stop us early, and we ain't stopping anybody.
All right, make sure you use DraftKings code BOOT for that over in the first quarter of all LSU games. Everybody else, peace out. Hope you had a good time. It's Bradley and Coach saying enjoy the rest of your Louisiana Saturday night.